Peppa Pig, read it yourself. School bus trip. Peppa and her friends are going on a school bus trip.
Hooray!
Is everyone here? Says Madame Gazelle. Yes, they say. Everyone loves school trips. Where are we going for our trip? Says Peppa. We are going to the mountains, says Madame Gazelle. Hooray! Everyone says. They all look out as they go. The bus is going to the top of a big mountain. It is very high up.
Wow!
Come on, bus, says Peppa. Up, up, up they go. The children sing a song as they go.
La, 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 la.
The bus gets to the top and everyone gets out. Come and look at the big mountains, says Madame Gazelle.
Wow!
Peppa looks at the mountains. She is very high up. Wow, she says. Everyone hears, wow, wow, wow. What was that? Says Peppa. That was an echo, says Madame Gazelle. It is what you hear when you call out up in the mountains. Come on, everyone, says Peppa. We can all make an echo. The children call out. Wow, they can hear. Wow, wow, wow. Everyone loves echoes. Come on, children, says Madame Gazelle. It is time for your picnic. Hooray, says everyone. Where are the ducks? Says Peppa. They love it when we have picnics too. Peppa and her friends look out for the ducks. Here come the ducks. Hooray, says Peppa. Quack, 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 say the ducks. Come here, ducks, says Madame Gazelle. Yes, come to our picnic, ducks, says Peppa. Then the ducks have a big picnic too. It is time to go back to school. The children get in the bus. Then they sing a song as they go back down the mountain. Everyone loves school trips. The end. Read it yourself. Peppa Pig, Nature Trail. Peppa Pig and her family are going on a picnic in the woods. Daddy Pig has the map.
Wow!
We need the picnic too, says Mummy Pig. But the picnic is still in the car. In the woods, Peppa sees something on the ground. Look down there, says Peppa. I can see some footprints on the ground. Peppa and her family follow the footprints on the ground.
Wow!
A bird made these footprints, says Mummy Pig. Look up there in the tree, says Peppa. I can see some birds. There is a mummy bird and some little birds up in the tree. Then Peppa sees more little footprints on the ground. Look down there, says Peppa. I can see some ants. Peppa and her family are hungry. They need the picnic, but it is still in the car. Daddy Pig looks at the map. I don't know the way back to the car, he says. I know, says Peppa. I can see our footprints too. We can follow our footprints back to the car. Then it rains. The rain takes all the footprints away.
Oh no!
I know, says Peppa. I can see some ducks over there. Ducks love the rain and they love picnics. We can follow these ducks back to the picnic in our car. The hungry family follow the ducks all the way back to the car. I love picnics in the wood, says Peppa. The birds, the ants and the ducks love the picnic too. The end. Peppa Pig. Read it yourself with Ladybird. Sports Day. It is sports day at school.
Wow.
Peppa, George and everyone are there.
Hooray!
First, it is the running race. Ready, steady, go, says Madame Gazelle. They all run as fast as they can. Peppa is not ready. She comes last, and she is not at all happy. Rebecca Rabbit wins the running race. Hooray! Everyone says. Next is the long jump. Ready, steady, go, says Madame Gazelle again. George jumps as far as he can, but he comes last. George is not happy at all. Richard Rabbit wins the long jump.
Hooray!
Hooray! Everyone says. Next, it is the relay race. Ready, steady, go, says Madame Gazelle again. Daddy Pig runs as fast as he can. Here, Peppa, says Daddy Pig. Run as fast as you can. But Peppa is not ready. Emily Elephant wins the relay race.
Hooray!
Hooray! Everyone says. Peppa comes last again, and she is not happy at all. Next, it is the tug of war.
Wow.
Ready, steady, go, says Madame Gazelle. Everyone tugs as hard as they can. Snap! The rope breaks. Now everyone wins, says Madame Gazelle.
Hooray!
Hooray, says Peppa. I win at last. I like sports day. The end. Peppa Pig, Peppa's Christmas. It is Christmas Eve. Peppa, George and their friends are posting letters to Father Christmas. I can't wait to see what Father Christmas brings us all, cries Peppa. Everyone is very excited. That afternoon, Daddy Pig buys the biggest Christmas tree he can find. Daddy, it won't fit in the car, giggles Peppa. I'll just have to carry it home, grunts Daddy Pig. Daddy Pig carries the Christmas tree up and down the hill all the way home. The tree is heavy and it takes him a long time. Poor Daddy Pig, he is worn out. Daddy Pig finally makes it home. Let's decorate the tree, says Mummy Pig. Daddy Pig puts a shiny star at the very top. Ooh! Everyone gasps. The tree looks beautiful. Peppa and George leave a snack for Father Christmas by the fireplace. Time for bed now, smiles Daddy. Father Christmas won't come unless you are asleep. Peppa and George are tucked up in bed when they hear a loud thump. It's Father Christmas. He can't get down the chimney, so he goes down to the front door. Peppa and George race downstairs giggling. Hello, Peppa and George, cries Father Christmas. Merry Christmas. Now off to bed so I can deliver your presents. Hooray! It's Christmas morning. George gets a toy train and Peppa gets a yo-yo. But Peppa and George's favourite present was definitely meeting Father Christmas. This is the best Christmas ever! Cheers, Peppa. The end. Peppa Pig. Good night, Peppa. Once upon a time, Granny and Grandpa Pig came round for dinner. It was almost time for Peppa and George to go to bed. Suddenly, Daddy Pig yawned very loudly while they were eating. Everyone giggled. Ho, ho, ho. Sorry, snorted Daddy Pig. I'm a little tired. Peppa and George weren't tired at all. Can we jump in puddles just for a tiny bit? Asked Peppa. Please. Okay, said Daddy Pig, but you must come in at bath time. Peppa and George loved jumping up and down in muddy puddles. They jumped up and down until they were covered in mud. Peppa, George, called Daddy Pig. You must be feeling sleepy after all that jumping. Let's get you into the bath. But Daddy, we're not even a little bit sleepy, replied Peppa. Peppa and George splashed in the bath until they were both nice and clean. I think bath time is over, said Daddy Pig, who was dripping wet. You must be tired after all that splashing. We're not even a little bit tired, cried Peppa, splashing Daddy Pig again. Laughed George. Daddy Pig was soaked. Peppa and George hopped out the bath. They dried off and put their pyjamas on very slowly. Then they brushed their teeth for an extra long time. Brush, brush, brush. Quick, wash your faces. Granny Pig wants to tuck you into bed, said Mummy Pig. Hooray! Yippee! Cheered Peppa. Daddy Pig! Cheered George. Peppa and George were finally ready for bed. They said goodnight to Mummy and Daddy Pig and found Granny Pig waiting in their room. Come on, little ones, said Granny Pig. It's bedtime. Hop in. I can't go to bed without Teddy, said Peppa. Dinosaur, sobbed George. So Granny Pig found Teddy and Mr. Dinosaur and tucked everyone in. "Good night, Peppa and Teddy," said Granny Pig. "Good night, George and Mr. Dinosaur." "But we're not even the tiniest bit sleepy, Granny," said Peppa. "I see," said Granny Pig. "I wonder what will make you sleepy." "Can you tell us a bedtime story?" asked Peppa. "Of course, Peppa," said Granny Pig. "As long as you promise to go to sleep as soon as the story ends." "We promise," cried Peppa. Peppa and George loved bedtime stories. Granny Pig began telling a story. "Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess called Peppa," interrupted Peppa. "Yes," said Granny Pig. "And Sir George the Brave Knight," Peppa interrupted again. Giggled George. Granny Pig carried on. "Princess Peppa and Sir George lived in a castle." "A great big castle in the sky," said Peppa. Granny Pig tried to finish the story. "Princess Peppa and Sir George had been playing all day in the castle and were very tired. Then the king arrived," cheered Peppa. "And the cook, and the wizard, and the scary dragon dinosaur." "Dinosaur," added George. "Arr!" "And the cook made them all a giant picnic with sandwiches, cakes, jelly." Peppa listed all the food she could think of. Grandpa Pig came to find Granny Pig. "I'm telling Peppa and George a bedtime story," explained Granny Pig. "And we promise to go to sleep when this story ends," added Peppa. "I see," said Grandpa Pig. "Granny Pig, why don't you leave this to me? I am good at ending stories." So Granny Pig said good night and went downstairs. Grandpa Pig did his best to end the story. After they ate the lovely picnic, everyone fell asleep. The end. But Peppa did not want the story to end. "Then they all woke up and their friends arrived," she cried, "Princess Peppa's carriage, and decided to have a great big party." Soon, Daddy Pig came upstairs. "I'm the expert at telling bedtime stories," he said. Then he whispered quietly to Grandpa Pig, "I'll have them asleep in no time." So Grandpa Pig said good night and went downstairs. "Princess Peppa and Sir George were just about to have a great big party," Peppa told Daddy Pig. "I see," he replied. Thud, thud, thud. Mummy Pig heard banging, so she came upstairs too. Peppa, George and Daddy Pig were dancing. "We're having a party like in the story," explained Peppa. "They're almost asleep," said Daddy Pig. "Thank you, Daddy," said Mummy Pig. "I'll take over now." So Daddy Pig said good night and went downstairs. Mummy Pig tucked Peppa and George back into bed. Then she asked Peppa to tell her the whole bedtime story from the beginning, very quietly. "Once upon a time," whispered Peppa, yawning, "there was a beautiful princess called Peppa. She lived with Sir George the Brave Knight in a great big castle in the sky." Speaking softly was making Peppa really sleepy. Peppa tried to finish the story, but she just couldn't keep her eyes open. Soon, George fell fast asleep, and so did Peppa. Mummy Pig looked at her two little ones, smiled, and whispered, "Good night, George. Good night, Peppa." Then she headed downstairs to find Granny, Grandpa Pig and Daddy Pig fast asleep. It was bedtime for Peppa and George, and it was bedtime for everyone else too. "Good night," said Mummy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig, Mummy Pig's book. Mummy Pig is working on the computer. "Please, can we play Happy Mrs. Chicken?" asked Peppa. "Not until Mummy Pig has finished writing her book," says Daddy Pig. "After lots of hard work, I've finished my book," says Mummy Pig. "Hooray! Now we can play Happy Mrs. Chicken," says Peppa. Peppa and George take it in turns to play. "Well done, George," says Peppa. "Oh no, I forgot to save my work," says Mummy Pig. "Phew, it's still there. Let me save it now. Save, close, send. Now it will be made into a real storybook."
Wow.
The next morning, Mummy Pig visits Peppa's playgroup.
Hooray!
"Thank you for coming to read your new book to us today," says Madame Gazelle. "It's very exciting," says Mummy Pig. "The books are so new, I haven't even opened one yet." Madame Gazelle tells the children they must listen politely. Shh. Then Mummy Pig begins. "Once upon a time, there was an onion called Funny Onion," says Mummy Pig.
Wow.
She turns over the page, but the rest of the book is one big long number. "That's not what I wrote," gasped Mummy Pig. "It's George's Happy Mrs. Chicken high score," cries Peppa. Mummy Pig is sad that her Funny Onion story has been replaced with numbers. "I'm sorry, children, but I can't read to you today," she says. "Oh," the children sigh sadly. They want to hear about Funny Onion. "Can you remember this story, Mummy Pig?" asks Madame Gazelle. "Yes," says Mummy Pig. "Then just tell us the rest," says Madame Gazelle. "Okay," says Mummy Pig, closing the book and putting it down. "Once upon a time, there was an onion called Funny Onion. All he wanted was to make people laugh, but he made people cry instead because he was an onion." "I must learn how to be funny," said Funny Onion. "I will search the world to learn how to be funny," said Funny Onion.
Wow.
Then he met a tomato. The tomato said, "Wear a funny hat." So Funny Onion wore a funny hat. But still people cried. "Oh no!" Next, Funny Onion met a banana. The banana said, "Wear some funny shoes." So Funny Onion wore some funny shoes. But still people cried. "Oh no!" Funny Onion was ready to give up when he met a pineapple. What do you think the pineapple said? Mummy Pig asked the children. "Wear a red nose," suggests Susie Sheep. "Wear a purple wig," suggests Rebecca Rabbit. "Very good," says Mummy Pig. But what the pineapple really said was, "Do something funny."
Wow.
Funny Onion did something funny, and everyone laughed. The end. As the story ends, the mummies and daddies arrive to take the children home.
Hooray!
"I have your book," Dr. Elephant tells Mummy Pig. "What did you mean by 453967? Mummy Pig doesn't tell him it's George's Happy Mrs. Chicken score. Everyone loves Mummy Pig's book. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.